Hello and welcome to Books I've Read in November. Cheers! Ice cold gin martini. The perfect accompaniment to talking about books. Let's pop that there, radiator's not on. Here's the stack. I read 4 books, 3 real life books and then 1 audiobook, which I include because I think listening to Audible is still reading. Or audiobooks, doesn't have to be audible. If you say that too many times, you will feel drunk, even though I am not drunk. Let's do this in order. There will be no spoilers, or I'll try to not include any spoilers. I'm just going to do like an overview of the book, how I felt about it, do I recommend it, and sort of talk about what it's about without spoilers. Anyway, the first book, The Women by Kristin Hannah. This is the best book I've ever read in my life. It is the best love story that exists, okay? You must read this book. It is stunning. It is... Little side note, I can't remember characters' names once I've read a book, because then I go on to the next book and then the next book and I'm listening, so I can't usually remember names, so I do apologise. But the main lady volunteers as a nurse in the war in Vietnam, and as we know, the war in Vietnam was horrific and it's what she experienced there. This was one of the most immersive experiences with reading about war, where I felt like I was there. She then writes about how difficult it was for all veterans coming out of Vietnam after, and the lies that the government had fed to the American people about what was actually happening, and how women aftercare as veterans were told that there were no women in Vietnam and there was no help for them. And it's her struggles through love, loss and life during and post-war. My heart was broken many times reading this book. I sobbed during, after, if I think about it. It is stunning. I implore you to read this book, please, so we can talk about it. I got Tom to read it. He listened to it on Audible and he came in from work and he was like, what have you made me read? He's like, I don't think I can take it. I was like, persist. And that goes to all of you guys as well. So 1,000,010 out of the highest rate. Can you hear the cat shouting? If she persists, I'll have to let her in. She hates being locked in the room. She might stop. Anyway, can't wait to read her other work. Kristin Hannah, stunning, absolutely stunning. That was followed up by The People on Platform 5, which was a fantastic book, actually. It's really hard when you read an incredible book to... It's almost like nothing can compare. This was a great follow-up, and I actually, from the cover, sometimes I judge a book by its cover. I did not think it was going to deliver in the way that the story actually is about. Like, I feel like this cover doesn't portray like the depth of the storyline or the writing. But the person that gave me to this, her book recommendations have always been great, and she told me I'd love this. It's about a group of people on the commuter train, on the Surbiton line. If you're from the UK, it's like near Hampton Court Palace, that line into London. Does it go into Waterloo? I can't remember. Don't know. Anyway, I've never been a train commuter, but I'm sure if you are, you tend to see the same people on the train in the same seats at the same time. It's about that, and then an event happens where a passenger chokes and they save his life, and it's how that became an ice-breaking barrier for them to start talking and checking in with each other each day and having conversations and learning, and how important community is is what I feel like this book was portraying, like how strangers can become your community and the beauty in talking to strangers, actually. I don't feel like I can say too much more about this because you get lots of different, it's written in lots of different POVs from the passengers, and they all intertwine and they all end up meaning so much to each other. And there's a word that I can't ever remember where you're just strangers on a street and then you have this epiphany where you realise that there is so much to a person's life like that person has experienced, is going through and is going to go through, and there's a word for that, and this is what this book portrays, how each of these individuals on this train in the morning, they all have preconceived ideas about each other, and it's about how most of the time those things are wrong. This was very, very good. This is a 5 out of 5. I think it's, yeah, Claire Pooley. Very, very good. Oh, throwing that around. Oh my gosh. I'll have a sip of my martini. Do you guys like a martini? This is Tanqueray with lemon. Stirred or shook in the, it was not stirred, it was shaken for quite a while because I like quite a lot of a good water ratio. Okay, the last physical book was Everything I Told You by Celeste Ng, which I probably actually, I should look up. I don't think you would say NG.
Celeste Ng. Celeste Ng.
Celeste Ng. So, this is by Celeste Ng. There we go. Everything I Never Told You. She wrote. So, right, this book. Was slightly lackluster for me. I hate to say it. Now I need to look up now what else she wrote, because there's a point to what I'm going to say about it being lackluster and probably why. There you go. Right, so get to the point. Celeste Ng wrote Little Fires Everywhere, which is so good. Now this book was written 10 years ago. I don't think Little Fires Everywhere was written that long ago. I feel like, because I've read that book ages ago, I feel like she has, like any author, her writing has developed massively. I think it's really hard when you have read recent work that you love and then you read old work, because I know some people did that with Taylor Jenkins Reid stuff. They love all the Carrie Soto's back, Evelyn Hugo, which we've read, Daisy Jones, and then people read her old stuff and they're like, oh, it's a bit naff. Like, yeah, because that's her job. She has gotten better at her job, which I feel like is the same for this. This is why somebody tells me that Little Fires is older than this. Anyway, so I think that's probably the comparison I had in my mind. This book is about a girl that's found dead in a lake and how she got to be there. But really at the depth of this was exploring how your parents' lives influence their parenting, and if they perhaps don't resolve or do the work on those things that have affected them, and how they parent and how they treat their children the same or very differently because of things that happened in their lives when their children were at certain ages. It sounds really cryptic, I know. So for example, if you had a car crash with a child in the car but not your other child, how does that affect your relationship with that child and the other child? Because something's going to change, right? So it's an exploration of that. It was a very good book, by the way, very good book, but there was something more that I was looking for. Just something. I don't know what, something. But I would recommend it. It was very moving. And sad when we're just humans trying to bring up other humans, doing the best that we can with what we've got. And yeah, we all know what that's like. The audiobook I read was Stanley Tucci, What I Ate in a Year, which is why it's very apt that I've got a martini, because he loves the martini. So What I Ate in a Year is Stanley Tucci documenting what he ate in the year. Obviously not every single day, but perhaps poignant meals, lackluster meals, I'm using that word again, disappointing meals, meals that were linked to holidays, life events, social events. The book is amazing. He writes, you know, he's evoking an emotion around food. He's making you feel the you know, it's not just functional for him. It's love, it's community, it's family, it's interaction, it's conversation, which I love because I am a huge foodie. And yeah, Christ, I was hungry listening to that book. And it's nice that he reads it as well, because he's got really good reading voice. And it's nice because he explores the death of his late wife. He talks about death quite a lot, and grief, and his own struggles with cancer and health. And yeah, I laughed out loud, I was inspired, and it's a 5 out of 5 for me. So that is November. Going into December, I am reading, I've already read Claire Keegan, One Small Thing. I'm listening to Mad Honey by Jodie Pickle and the other author, I can't remember. I have to say, it's really good. A huge twist has happened, but I will talk about it next time. And a Christmas book called, oh my gosh, I always do this. Sometimes I read books and I couldn't even tell you who it's by or what the title is. Is it called Cozy Christmas Cabin? It's set on the, I think it's the Orient Express that goes through Canada from Toronto to Vancouver, if that's the way it goes. Anyway, let's chat in January about what I read in December. Thank you so much, and let me know if you've read these books, what you think, any book recommendations. And actually, if you do not agree with what I've said, like, let's chat about it. I love how we can experience the same things in life and feel completely different about it. Anyway, bye now.